Welcome back to our YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad that you chose to be part of our very esteemed viewers and listeners, and I don't take it for granted. I'm really humble. Please don't hesitate to share with us your thoughts on the comment section. As I always maintain, it doesn't have to be to agree with my position. We are in a democratic country and you can sometimes disagree because we are a neutral platform. Very quickly, allow me to request you to subscribe to our channel if you want to support it, and then click the notification bell so that you will get our notification whenever we release a video. Help us share our videos and give this video likes so that it can reach many people. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, when William Samoei Ruto chose Rigathi Gachagua, the truthful man, as his running mate against the chagrin of the UDA leaders who had voted for Kithure Kindiki, the first question that they were confronted with was, how would their working relationship be? Because it came against the backdrop of William Ruto and his boss, Uhuru Kenyatta, then disagreeing in public. A president and a deputy president, for the first time in the history of Kenya, disagreed in public, and we were wondering what was really happening. And Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto assured Kenyans that they would have a cordial relationship. And in fact, I remember William Ruto saying that he had learnt from what happened between him and his predecessor. Rigathi Gachagua, on his side, assured the nation that he had come from a career that only involved yes sir. As a DO and a DC, all that he had known was to take orders from his bosses. And so he said that he would obey William Ruto. In fact, when you look at Rigathi Gachagua even today, he is playing that loyalty card. You remember the other day when people heckled William Ruto in Bomet, Rigathi said that you will have to meet my wrath. You cannot heckle the president. In Kiambu, he got to know that people were heckling and booing William Ruto, and he was telling them, mnaweza piga aje kelele kwa huyu mfalme. He named William Ruto as a king. And in fact, after the elections, Rigathi Gachagua continued to assure the Mount Kenya fraternity that they are one of the major shareholders in this government. Now, the difference between Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto relationship and that of Ruto and Uhuru is that Uhuru had promised Ruto that after he does his 10th term, then he will hand over the baton to Uhuru. In Rigathi and Ruto's relationship, nothing like that. Ruto has never been on record promising Rigathi Gachagua that he would hand over the baton to him. But when you look at the way Rigathi Gachagua is playing his politics, this man has set his eyes on the biggest prize. He wants to ensure that he remains a running mate in 2027, and then he believes that thereafter he will take over as the next president of the nation. But ladies and gentlemen, there is an Uhuru curse that will rock this government very soon, and that is what I want to explain to you. When you look at the signs and symptoms, William Ruto seems to be, he's not very keen on Mount Kenya votes. He's not very sure because he got into power by big lies. And Rigathi Gachagua, Ndindi Nyoro, and Kimani Chungwa assisted him to perpetuate a lot of lies and hoodwinking Kenyans and a lot of fallacy. In fact, they maligned Uhuru's name, accusing him as the man who was voted in by the Mount Kenya community and he abandoned them. At some point, they were saying that he was taken capture by Raila Amolo Odinga and he was now ferrying all the development projects to Kisumu. So when people bought this, they thought that William Ruto would be their source of a solution to everything. Ruto called himself a hustler. After getting into power, recently you've seen them crying foul over avocado taxes. courtesy of the Finance Bill 2023. In fact, it is being argued that Ruto has never launched his project. He keeps on relaunching Uhuru's projects. In fact, I remember even the Mao, is it Maua Road or something? One of the biggest and the mega projects in Central was stopped. And they were saying that they were investigating some corruption cases in it. Yet Kimarera and Aurora has gone through. So people are asking William Ruto, what exactly have you done? And were you really a hustler? Because we hear of corruption cases and wastage. Even in the appointments, we have never seen any hustler. The Mama Mboga is crying out. So Ruto knows very well that he has disappointed Mount Kenya. The other day they were crying and saying, "Oh, Huru, how we wish that we listened to you." So he's looking, he's hunting everywhere, and people believe that he's keen on trying to bring Mudavadi on his side. And people believe that there is a possibility that he wants to sideline Mount Kenya. It is believed that maybe William Ruto might attempt to abandon or shelve Rigathi Gachagua come 2027. He might want to bring in another deputy or to take another running mate. And he will do this because he believes that Rigathi Gachagua was not elected, and even if he gives them an opportunity to elect, maybe to give him another running mate, he's not very sure that they will give him Rigathi Gachagua. We have seen attempts by certain powers to bring in Ndindi Nyoro, and they're saying it is time for Muranga because they argue, and this is a plot that many believe is emanating from William Ruto himself to try and create two centers of power. That Kiambu has had their day, they have had two presidents, and Nyeri has had Kibaki and now a deputy president, and they're saying that Muranga is a very strong county within Mount Kenya, but they have never had a position, a big position in any government. So there are attempts to bring in Ndindi Nyoro. So these are pointers and vectors that William Ruto might attempt to abandon or to ditch Rigathi Gachagua. And when you look at the kind of politics that is being played, he is seducing Musalia Mudavadi. And it is believed that in this government, somebody is arguing that it is only Musalia Mudavadi who is level-headed and is being used. You've seen him being sent on presidential errands, and people are saying, why not Gachagua? Is big given prominence. When Gachagua kept on talking about shareholders, it was Rigathi Gachagua, it was Musalia Mudavadi who was sent to tell him, let us stop these shareholders kind of politics. When Gachagua kept on blaming the previous government, everything was about Uhuru, it was Musalia Mudavadi who went and told them, let us stop this blame game. So when you look at the kind of politics that is being played, William Ruto might want to drop Rigathi Gachagua as his running mate in 2027. And if he goes with him, then he will drop him in 2032 because that is exactly what Uhuru did to Ruto. But then I wanted to submit to you very humbly that if William Ruto is not very careful, another Uhuru curse will come in. Apart from the fact that they might disagree the way they disagreed, there comes in the USA powers. For in most of my analysis, I keep on mentioning to you that our country is being governed from the USA. William Ruto is just a conduit to take orders. And I know for those who listen to this channel, I've talked more than enough about GMO and LGBTQ, IMF, loans, and all this. In fact, as we speak, we are staring at reducing a wage bill. That is just another way of telling William Ruto that you need to retrench more people in an economy where the cost of living is so high and unemployment rate is rising. So William Ruto was placed there to take orders from the USA. And how this happened is very funny because Uhuru had the deep state. And up to date, people don't understand how Uhuru lost the trust of the deep state because he had wanted Raila to be the president. Even in Bomas, we thought that Matiang'i was the minister of interior who was in charge of the police. Uhuru Kenyatta was the commander in chief in charge of all the armed forces, in charge of the police. But then when that mayhem started in Bomas, where Ledama Lekina was being beaten, people were wondering. First, the person who was in charge was not Mutambei, who was the inspector general. Instead, it was his deputy. And then the people who were there were Ruto aligned. And people knew that they had lost the deep state, the support of the deep state. Even when Jose Camargo, the Venezuelan, was caught at the JKIA, we thought we would get to the rock bottom of this matter, but nothing happened. It was only Kinoti who was committed to doing a forensic audit, but he was working under Mutembei. Everything had been compromised. And so, ladies and gentlemen, should William Ruto try to betray his deputy, then what happened to him between him and Uhuru might just happen. Because William Ruto knew very well that powers that determine who becomes the president in this country is not only your vote, but other powers. William Ruto was there in 2007 when their victory was robbed, and he saw how the government came in to force a handshake so that Raila became a prime minister. And he watched because when Kofi Annan led that negotiation between PNU and ODM, he was there together with Mudavadi and people like Sally Kosgei. The other side were people like Wetangula and Martha Karua and Mudaura and all that. And he saw how they were being manipulated, and he knew that for you to become a president, you must align yourself to the USA and the Western powers. In 2013, when they teamed up with the Uhuru Kenyatta, he saw how the votes were manipulated, but then they were also the powers that be forced Raila to accept defeat. And in 2017, you saw the Delamere senator, Chris Coons, who came, and there was another handshake between Uhuru and Raila. And so William Ruto knew that for you to become a president in this country, you must negotiate power. When he realized that Uhuru wanted to abandon him, he ran very fast, sneaked, and negotiated power with the very people. Because in 2013 and 2017, he was a deputy president, and he was privy to the meetings. He was privy to what had sustained their presidency, and he knew very well. So he went there very fast, negotiated his position, and I think he must have promised them that, when Uhuru was in power, even in for the 10 years, Uhuru never wanted GMO. He has suspended it. He had placed a ban. Immediately Ruto came to power, he lifted that ban. People like LGBTQ, I remember Uhuru told of the former president of the USA, Barack Obama, that you cannot force Kenya to emulate everything from the USA. We will only pick what is good for us. We have a lot to deal with, like unemployment and all kind of these things. But William Ruto, on one side, he gave us a side of a man who is a Christian. On the other side, working with the hot air Madam Kwame, they decided to give weight to the LGBTQ. And so when you look at what is happening, Ruto knew very well, and he had promised them that he would return the country from the Eastern powers like China and Russia, and he would turn the country to the Western powers. That is why when Russia organized for the Russia-African Summit, Business Summit, where they could see how they are given loans and all this, William Ruto never went, neither did he even send any representative, despite the fact that Russia gave them free fertilizer that they later sold to farmers. He never wanted to align himself to the Eastern machination. The only reason why he still goes to China is because we have loans that we have not paid, so he goes there to negotiate. So my point is this: if Rigathi Gachagua would use that very tactic, he would run there, he would run to Meg Whitman, they would negotiate power, so that if Ruto, and you will see this, if by any chance William Ruto wants to ditch Rigathi Gachagua as his running mate, then the first thing that will happen, he will be forced to take Rigathi Gachagua. And these are power plays that will happen that you might not even know. because Meg Whitman is watching very closely, and they want someone who will perpetuate all these things that they had started. You know that Bill Gates has had very many meetings in the country with William Ruto. They have met in the USA, they have met here, and it's only a matter of time, and they are going to now start supplying GMO. We are about to sell our state corporations, including Seed Corporation, so that it will be bought by by Bill Gates company. They want to control our foods and animal feeds so that we feed on GMO. They know very well that if someone will come who is not aligned to the Western powers, all their businesses shall collapse and we might take back Kenya to the Eastern nation. So what will happen is very simple. Rigathi Gachagua is very ruthless. You saw the way he conducted himself during the demonstrations. He is a man who will take orders from the US and he will implement them the way they are. Such are the people who US would want. So Rigathi Gachagua will go back, he will negotiate power. Ruto will be forced to have him as a running mate. After they go for the second time after 2027, if at all Ruto will win, if he attempts to abandon Rigathi Gachagua just the way Uhuru did, then Gachagua will go there and Ruto will be ordered to stay away from his succession politics. Because, you know, Uhuru Kenyatta suffered because he was given power by the USA. So it was very easy. He was told, stay clear from your succession politics. And that is why people like Matiang'i did not have powers. Yes, there you could read Matiang'i is the Minister for Interior, but he had no powers. So the person who will take over succession politics is Meg Whitman and the USA. They will be dealing with William Ruto. Remember, when Ogola was the late Ogola general was being accused that they went to Bomas to overturn the rule of the will of the people. If they wanted, then there is only one power that was standing above them. That Meg Whitman was in Bomas and he was there to provide security to Chebukati as they manipulated things. This is exactly what Gachagua will do. So if William Ruto thinks that he can manipulate and abandon Gachagua, the same curse that befell them with Uhuru Kenyatta is the same curse that will befall him. If he tries to abandon Gachagua, he will be told, stay clear of your succession politics. Watakuwa wanampanga tu, utakuwa unaona tu Ruto anadanganya hapo nini nini, but he will be forced to go with Rigathi Gachagua. And I know you are wondering, how on earth can we have Gachagua as the president? The answer is, it is not your votes that count. It is the opinion of other people, because we've never stood up and risen up to condemn this kind of manipulation by the USA. The more we keep quiet na tunalalamika hapa na pale, that is exactly what they will do. And I'm here to submit to you that we might have Rigathi Gachagua as the president because it is the USA which votes for us. It is not your vote. And that is the Uhuru curse that I'm talking about. And that is why I'm saying that Joe Biden will disappoint William Samoei Ruto if he tries to ditch Rigathi. And that is my take.